What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be doing some preventative maintenance on my 98. I'm going to be changing the diff fluid in both the front and rear, and I'm also going to be resurfacing the rear case because I'll give you a look at it, a little preview. It's really pitted and rusty. So I've got a couple tools right here. I went ahead and bought me some wire wheels. I'm gonna try to knock off a little of that, clean it up, and then I'm gonna repaint it just a little black and put a clear coat on it. If y'all haven't checked these out, these are fantastic for the front diff on these vehicles because they're super difficult to get to. You saw in our other video where we had to use a siphon to get the oil up to the front diff. But these right here, I'll be able to flex the bag, dump it in, and it'll be a lot less headache. So let me get started. So on this, here is the fill plug. It's a 3/8. You want to make sure you can actually break this loose first before you do the actual case. That's gonna take 2 hands right there. Oh, goodness gracious, dude. Holy cow. Nice and tight. Oh, that sucker is not loose, let me tell you. Alright, I think I can get it with the other one now. You can tell this really hasn't been changed in 23 years. You can tell by looking at that plug, and man, you can't smell it. You can tell. It's just old, crusty. So we got to clean up a little bit before I get going. All I'm going to do now is I'm going to take, I got some Purple Power, a little citrus all-purpose cleaner, and I am going to clean up around that hole because when I re-put the plug back in, I do not want it to be dirty and try to push any of that dirt in there. So I'm going to spray a little bit on this rag here, and then I'm going to clean up that area. Not too terribly much, but enough to where I feel comfortable. I mean, you can tell it's absolutely filthy. This hasn't been changed more than likely since the beginning of this truck's life. I'm the second owner, and I doubt it's ever been done. So now I got it all tidied up. We look a heck of a lot better. I'm gonna go to the back side and we're gonna start removing that back casing. All right, these bolts all the way around are gonna be 13 millimeter, and at the top up here, you got your 2 clips for your brake lines. These bolts are going to be different than the rest of these. They have a little washer on them. Oh, our rust is coming off. So you got to make sure you separate these from the rest because these are different. I'm gonna go ahead and start breaking these loose. It's gonna be a little tough. Break this cover loose. We gotta see. You want to do it slow because you can tell. There it goes. Starting to bleed a little. Man.
But that is the blackest.
That's horrible.
I've ever seen.
And it smells like burnt.
It probably is burnt.
Yeah, well, I mean, 23 years old and not changing it is,
How crusty is the gasket?
I don't know yet. Let me see. Slide it down and out around that top piece. Oh. Well, that's curious.
My dish broke.
No, it's pretty clean. That's pretty good. I mean, it's it could be worse, I can tell you that. Let's get a shot of this like this. Look how clean this is. For this to be as old as it is, it's not too terribly dirty. I'm gonna get out from under this truck though. We're gonna look at this case and see if we got too big of metal chunks or just the right amount. All right, looking at the magnet, it doesn't look like anything is too out of the ordinary. Something right there is bubbled up, which I'm gonna need to clean this out. There's a little bubble there, but for the most part, it has its typical metal shavings. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some carburetor cleaner to this and we're gonna get this pan crazy clean. And then I've gotta take a little razor blade or a little plastic putty and I've gotta get that 23-year-old gasket off the rear diff. All right, so I got the backside cleaned up. Looks real good. Got all the chunks out, scrubbed it down. Now I'm gonna spray it down with some of this little purple powder just to mist it, just to help me out. And I have this little wire wheel, and we're gonna see if we can clean this up a little bit. And it might be a two-hand job, so give me half a sec. It's starting to look real good now. Soak it down. I think what I'm gonna have to do, probably hit it with 2 or 3 coats for it to get it the look that I'm wanting it. But I think we'll get there. It's got a lot of that chunky surface rust off. And again, they're all pretty much gonna look like this with it being 23 years old. All right, time to hit it with its first coat. So I'm probably gonna hit it, like I said, probably 2 or 3 times. I want it to get a good base layer as it can. I'm trying to make it to where I'm sure you're probably able to see it. It's a little bit more prevalent in person, but you can see all the pits on it. So I want that paint to really try to fill it in before I hit it with a clear to make it look really good. All right, now, since I got the case outside doing a little drying, I'm coming in here and I'm going to be working on getting this gasket off. And I think it's gonna be a lot harder than it's seeming to be right now, because this gasket is not wanting to break loose easy. I mean, it's just all in pieces, and one spot will come off and then the next. So you really want to take your time with this, because you don't, if you can get a good pull like this one right here, and you just slowly, see, it just broke. Try to work your way on pieces. I'm taking a putty knife on it right now. However, as soon as I can, I'm gonna take a razor blade to it, and I'm gonna really get in there and clean it up. All right, so after a lot of scraping, a lot of punishing, we finally got that old seal off. I'm about to clean it up. Maybe do a little wet rag with some purple power, making sure not to get any in here. And you got to make sure, if you had to scrape any of that gasket off, that you get any out from the inside of that lip. You don't want any leftover goodies in there. So it might get up a little, like on top up here. Like there's a little right there on that gear, a little bit right there. Just make sure you get it all out and off. All right, so I'm getting ready to put my gasket on, but I'm going to use a little RVT gasket maker to help make it seal up a little bit better. So what I did is I cut a little bitty hole, just enough so I can get a good little bead going. So now I put this gasket on. I'm just going to press it all the way around so that's nice and tight, pressed up against this right here. Looks like every hole's lined up right. All right, now that I got the case all painted up, I'm going to put a little bit of this stuff on the gasket itself, just because I'm in a tight squeeze under here. Let's see. Like that. So now I'm gonna take a couple of these bolts. I'm gonna thread these in here. Just gonna take the top two right now. So now that I got those in, I'm gonna snug all these up. Not put any pressure on them yet, but all snugged up. Each of these bolts have to be torqued to 30 foot-pounds. The fill plug is only 24, but the case is 30, and it could be different in everybody's manual, but for this vehicle it was 30. And you want to do it in a star pattern. And I'm going to snug it up in a star pattern. I got a little torque wrench. Now I'm going to be torquing all these down to 30. And that seems like a lot to me, but I mean, that's what it calls for. I feel like that's quite a lot, but for those of you that don't have a buddy with a torque wrench or anything, you can actually rent these for pretty cheap at AutoZone or Advanced or something, but it just so happens one of my buddies is a mechanic, so I just borrowed his. Cover doesn't look too bad. It turned out as best as I could have done it in one day, so maybe later out when I change it again, I'll take a little bit more time, paint it a little bit more, put a couple more coats on it, see if I can get rid of the little textured look due to all the rust pitting, but you know, it'll work. It says to use 2 quarts of this stuff, which I'm hoping that's all I need. I've got just a little bit extra, but I'm hoping this is all we'll need. So after I put all that gear oil in it, you want to go ahead and just put your pinky in there, and when you touch it and it comes out like that, you know that you put enough. If you can't just put your pinky in there and do a little small dab and touch the gear oil, then you need to put just a little bit more in there. I put 2 and it worked for me. You know, it could be different for other people. It shouldn't be, but it could be. And if it is, you know, just get you another little bottle and just put a little bit in there and just keep checking it every time until you get to the right level you want. One thing right here, this fill plug is not like the case. It's got to be set to 24 foot-pounds. So I'm going to do this. Of course, it's going to need a little bit more. Screwing in there. This was very difficult to get out the first time, but I've cleaned it up. Tried to clean the threads up a little bit so that when I do it again, it actually makes it a lot easier. But the first time was extremely difficult. And also, I didn't show you, and I'll show you when I take this off, but it looks like somebody's messed with the fill plug before. I think that was it, right there. I'll show you this. It looks like somebody's messed with it before because for some reason, if you can see, it's a little watered out on the sides and whatnot. So I think somebody attempted at it and was like, nah, it's too tough. So I give up, but that was it. I mean, full gear oil change. It's not difficult. It's probably taken me 2 hours total, mainly because of the painting. If you were just doing a straight fluid change, I mean, it would take you no time. But I mean, all in all, not a bad project. Super easy. I'm gonna crank it up, let it get warmed up because it's a little cold where I'm at, and I'm gonna go drive it a little bit and make sure everything's working right. But I appreciate y'all watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.